get started, I'm actually going to lead it off, okay? So I'm going to ask a question. And I'm sure we're going to get lots of questions on the closed primary. But just to put everything to rest, the Republican primaries are actually closed. That's a fact now, right?
It is a fact, and that is under our own state law. So if you look under Title VII, I think it's 71103, it specifically says that the parties have the authority to close or determine who will vote in their primaries. And of course, I'm summarizing, I'm not quoting it word for word, but yes, the party has the final authority on that issue. Now, if I may, I just kind of want to jump back to one other thing real quick. So, first of all, Elizabeth is incredible. She has been absolutely amazing with getting us to where we are today. She does phenomenal research, incredible writing, and she's just been wildly instrumental in keeping people informed and and she's part of the glue that holds us all together. So I just want to thank you for what you've done. So I do want to clarify one thing, because there were two submissions regarding the makeup of the state committee, and one was that all the elected officials would be ex officio members, and then the second was that each county committee would be allowed to elect two additional individuals to represent that county at the state committee. The second one was not presented or passed, so it's just the first one, and that is just that all the elected officials are ex officio members, non-voting. So also we did not submit the equalization of endorsement. So that has not been touched yet. It was submitted. So both were timely submitted, and they're on Conduit's website, but just for some additional clarification, they were not decided on or passed at the convention.
And this was written and typed before the convention?
Okay.
Or right after?
Yes, yes. And they are on Conduit's website and timely submitted, but I just wanted to clarify that. So do you have any other questions for me?
No, actually, we're going to go to Mr. Hugh. Where's Mr. Hugh? Go ahead, Mr. Hugh. You had a question.
Yes, sir.
Let's follow up with that. Okay, can those be brought up when the convention reconvenes as new business?
Can they be brought
Those
up?
proposals, can they be dealt with when the convention reconvenes?
If the convention is reconvened, a proper motion could be made from the floor. So, does that answer your question?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, I've got some other behind-the-scenes questions.
Okay.
And I've learned even more tonight. Did the convention leadership, as opposed to the RPA leadership, receive instructions to vacate from Embassy Suites? Did that come from Embassy Suites staff, management, or via RPA membership?
Okay, did everyone hear his question? No, okay. So he asked if the notice to vacate by Embassy Suites was the one that was given to us at the convention. Was it given to us by the RPA staff, or so is it by or to?
Well, who invaded to the convention? Was it RPA leadership, or was it Embassy Suites, or we were told that Embassy Suites?
Okay, how about this? I'll just tell you exactly what happened from my perspective, okay? This is what I experienced. So while I was up there, Seth came up at one point and he said, we're gonna have to leave. We were a little bit past 4 at that point. He said, we're gonna have to leave. This was just scheduled until 4, and we have to be out by 5. That is what our contract says. And then I said, okay, but we had a lot going on, so I didn't wrap it up right then. Then the Embassy Suites lady came in, and she said the same thing, you're gonna have to leave. That's when I called my husband up, and I said, they're telling us we need to leave, but will you please handle this for me? And so that is when he told, now this is where he tells me what happened. He said he offered to pay to extend the contract so that we could stay in that room. Now, while I did have the other room reserved, it obviously was not as big as the room that we were in, and I was concerned, about people being comfortable and all that. So he left, and I think, if I remember correctly, he and Seth and the lady left. They came back at one point, Clint was like, no, you really need to get out. along. And that was just one of the many conversations that were going on up there, you probably saw. And so at one point, now this is what Sarah Dunklin told me, who, as you saw, she was up there. Seth said that he would extend the contract. She said she heard that. I did not hear that. But she heard that. They went outside. There was a conversation between Seth and the lady, the Embassy Suites representative. And shortly thereafter, she came back in and said, no, you have to leave. And my husband said this about around the same time. He said, you have to leave. There is another event the next day. And she said, we can't get a hold of the, I guess the sales manager that was over taking care of the room. So she couldn't get a hold of her to confirm whether or not we could stay. But nonetheless, they had a meeting the next day, so we had to get out. So that was the information that I personally heard. Now, of course, exactly when it happened, I can't tell you all that. There was a lot being thrown at me up there. You all saw that, or most of you saw that. But that is basically the gist of the conversation. And then at one point, I think around 6, right as we did leave, that's when I did see some police officers coming in. They started shutting off the lights at the back, and I was like, okay, now they're serious. I've pushed this as long as I can. I will tell you, in my mind, I was thinking, do I have everybody go to the room that we reserved? Do I take you guys out to the parking lot? I knew our people, people were committed. So I was trying to figure out in my mind, where could we go? And so that's why I was pushing it as long as I could. But that's